Welcome back to the deep dive. We are pulling from a new analytical excerpt today, focusing on F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, and our mission here is to kind of strip away the roaring 20s aesthetic and examine exactly why this text holds its spot as a top 100 essential read,
Right, because we are jumping straight into its core thesis on ambition and what the source actually calls the death of the American dream.
which is a heavy title. But the analysis stresses a vital shift in perspective. Like when you push past the bootlegging and the jazz, you uncover a deeply psychological text.
It really is. The source material highlights how much heavy lifting the narrator actually does here.
You mean Nick Carraway?
Yeah, Nick Carraway. In constructing the whole mythos of Gatsby. Since we already know Nick serves as our lens into the nouveau riche world of West Egg, the excerpt hones in on his biases.
Right, how Fitzgerald leverages Nick's specific Midwestern biases to frame the East Coast elite,
Because Nick's inherently grounded nature contrasts so sharply with Jay Gatsby.
which elevates him from just a mere millionaire to an almost mythic figure fueled by pure aspiration.
Okay, let's unpack this. We usually associate those massive West Egg events with Gatsby's ego.
Or a desire for social dominance, right?
Exactly. But treating the spectacle merely as bait shifts our entire understanding of his wealth. The excerpt frames his entire lifestyle as a calculated trap.
Designed for one specific person, Daisy Buchanan.
He built an empire and threw open his doors on the singular chance that his former love might just wander into his house.
It transforms the parties from celebrations of wealth into acts of profound desperation.
It really does. And that desperation is visually anchored by the green light at the end of Daisy's dock in East Egg.
The light is constantly referenced throughout the novel, but the source material pushes us to look beyond its literal glow across the bay.
What's fascinating here is how the light functions as a dual symbol. On a personal level, it represents Gatsby's impossible hope.
The tragic belief that if he just accumulates enough wealth, he can rewind time and recreate a perfect lost moment with Daisy.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it also symbolizes the fundamental flaw in the American dream.
Because Gatsby did everything the dream dictates. He started from nothing, worked ruthlessly, and amassed a massive fortune.
Yet, the text shows us that his self-made money alone couldn't buy him entry into Daisy's elite world.
It's the failure of meritocracy. That invisible, impenetrable barrier between West Egg's new money and East Egg's old money is the structural core of Fitzgerald's critique.
Characters like Tom and Daisy are protected by generational wealth. The source includes that famous description of them as careless people who smash things up
Creatures, lives, relationships,
and then just retreat back into their vast sums of money.
leaving the self-made outsiders like Gatsby to absorb the consequences and clean up the mess.
So the narrative isn't actually aspiring to the elite lifestyle at all. It's a harsh indictment of it.
The death of the American dream happens because the old money establishment ensures the game is rigged from the start.
Which raises an important question about the nature of Gatsby's ambition.
He essentially corrupted his own American dream, turning to organized crime, just to amass the funds he thought would make him worthy of the old money establishment.
But the establishment never saw him as an equal, only as an upstart. So what does this all mean for you listening today?
How does a 1920s critique translate to modern ambition?
It serves as a haunting reminder about the limits of wealth.
Ambition is an incredible driving force that can completely transform your socioeconomic standing.
However, Gatsby's trajectory proves that reaching the absolute peak of your field or amassing incredible resources cannot buy your way out of your own past.
You can have everything society tells you to strive for and still remain entirely empty-handed when it comes to what you genuinely desire.
A foundational warning about the nature of ambition. Thank you for joining us to explore this material on today's deep dive.
Always a pleasure. And we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over on your own today.
If Gatsby's green light was ultimately an impossible hope of recreating his past, consider what your own green lights might be right now.
Exactly. When you find yourself driven by intense ambition, are you actually chasing a better future?
Or are you just trying to buy your way back to a past that no longer exists?